Hi there, welcome to a new video. I'm happy to see you today and happy to have you join this lovely video today in which we'll be talking about a very important role in your mental health journey. This isn't going to be a video about anxiety or DPDR, but however, it is going to be applicable to that as to everything that we deal with in our mental health. I feel like it's very much related to this topic. And so that's why I wanted to dedicate a video on it today. Today, I want to talk about the role of self-love and self-compassion in your mental health. If you think about if you think about this picture for a second, from the moment you are born into this life until the moment you go out of this life, there is only one single consistency. There's only one single thing that you can 100% rely on, and that is that you're always going to be in your own company. From the moment you're born to the moment you die, you are going to be spending your life with yourself. And we know that, obviously, but I don't think we always realize that. I don't think we're always aware of that to a deep existential core level. Some people might be too aware of that, which sometimes happens with depersonalization, which is something that many of my followers here on this channel can relate to. But if you think about that fact, the fact that you are always going to be with yourself this entire life, you better have a good relationship with yourself. You better know how to talk to yourself. You better know how to comfort yourself when you're down. You better know how to talk yourself up when you're in doubt about yourself. You better be your number one cheerleader, your number one companion. And if that sounds cringe to you, if that sounds selfish to you, if that sounds uncomfortable to you, then you definitely need to watch this video. Because as much as you might want to distract yourself from yourself, as much as you might want to focus on other things in life and try to rely on other things in life, there's only one fact that is so true, which is that you are going to be here with yourself your whole life. And something that I've personally noticed is that the times in my life where I struggled the most were always times in my life where I was the furthest away from myself emotionally. That didn't mean that I was never focusing on myself, because trust me, I was always focusing on myself, either an eating disorder, focusing too much on my body or focusing too much on self-criticizing, or in my DPDR anxiety cycle, being too much focused on the concept of myself or my own consciousness. But I was never emotionally present with myself. I was never emotionally there and available for myself. And the times in my life where I felt the most stable, the most present, the most happy have always been the times where I was the most emotionally available and present for myself. Just like what we look for in a partner is someone who's emotionally available to us. We need to look for that in ourselves. The reason why this is so important is because having that unconditional self-support and self-compassion is almost like having a comfort blanket that works all the time, always on you. If you have a deep sense of self-compassion and self-love for yourself, and you always carry that within you, no matter what is happening in life, no matter what you're going through, no matter how uncomfortable this moment is, there is always a warm comfort blanket that you can wrap around yourself. There's always a big hug that you can give yourself because you truly and honestly love yourself. And so you truly and honestly want to be there for yourself. I think no matter what your social life is like right now or has been like in the past, most of you watching probably have, or I hope you have, at some point in your life felt really, really miserable and had that one person there that were just so supportive, that were just so loving, so present, so, or even just gave you a hug and said, I'm here. And you all know how much relief that can bring, is to have that certainty of a support person in your corner. So imagine that you always can have that person with you, that the person that always has your back, that always loves you, that always is going to cut yourself some slack when you're struggling, when you're not doing well, that's like this consistent stream of love, how much peace that would bring you. And I talk about peace a lot on this channel. I talk about peace being the acceptance of what is and the allowance of what is. And sometimes people struggle with understanding how to accept or how to practice acceptance or how to practice that peace. And yesterday I had a session with a client, a very dear client of mine, and we were talking about this topic. If you know who you are, little wink for you. And we got talking about the topic of self-compassion because what I realized observing them struggling to accept, struggling to find that peace, struggling to find that acceptance was that it was in their struggle and in them being so hard on themselves that they weren't able to accept, that I saw where they had to accept, which is they had to accept themselves. They had to truly cut themselves slack and be loving towards themselves, even if they weren't able to do everything perfectly, even if they weren't able to figure it out, even if they've been struggling for a long time and they still haven't found the peace that they've been looking for. It's so easy to get angry with yourself. It's so easy to start criticizing yourself, but all of that doesn't help you. What you need in that moment is to find that peace, is to truly unconditionally accept and embrace and love yourself the way you are. And it's something that I still to this day have to remind myself of because it's easy to forget and it's easy to crawl back into your coping mechanisms of self-critic and criticizing and self-rejection, because the part of us that self-rejects or self-criticizes thinks that if we accept ourselves, then we're never going to achieve what we want. If we accept where we are right now, we're never going to be ambitious enough to change. We're never going to put in more effort to go after that thing that we want. But what really is the case is when you truly love and accept yourself, that brings you so much peace and so much healing that from that place, you will take the best action. You will take whatever action that you need to take because you're also taking it from a place of self-love in that moment and not from a place of fear or self-hatred. So I want you to take a moment this week to reflect on how close is my friendship with myself? How much love do I give myself? How close do I connect with myself? Do I reject myself because I feel estranged from myself? Do I reject myself because I don't think I'm perfect enough? Do I reject myself because I think I've done something wrong this week? And just really being curious and observing, first of all, how close you feel towards yourself. Second, how close you felt towards yourself in your life. And third, how you feel when you reject yourself, how you feel when you're not being self-compassionate. And then finally, who you would be in this moment, right here, right now. Who would you be? How would you deal with your struggles if you truly 100% loved yourself and could create compassion for yourself with whatever it is that you're going through? So thank you for watching today. I feel like I really spoke from my heart today. I didn't even prepare this video, which I normally do. It just flew out, and I'm glad that I got to sit down with you and have this chat today. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.